Good morning, students. In the last class, I think we studied about uses of alkaline earth metal, isn't it? We completed uses of alkaline earth metal. And for online class, these all things also completed, already completed. These all things were completed. So I'll just repeat once again, okay? So first one is about general properties of compounds of alkaline earth metals. See students, in case of alkali metal, we already studied about general properties of alkaline metal. That is the thing, but oxides, general property of compounds, that is oxide, halides, and about superoxide. Here also we'll study about those things itself. First one is oxides or hydroxide. First one, oxides or hydroxides of alkaline earth metal. Oxides or hydroxides of alkaline earth metal. See student, in this case we have to remember all alkali metal reacts with oxygen and forms a metal oxide, isn't it? So if in case I'll consider metal which reacts with oxygen, it gives a metal oxide, which we already studied, isn't it? All metal forms metal oxide. But one thing is very important: beryllium oxide, except this one, all other metal oxides were rock salt appearance. It has a rock salt structure. So this must we have to remember, student. Beryllium oxide is not a rock salt. That means it is somewhat amorphous in nature. That means it is in a powder form. But it has a rock salt structure. Remember this point, student. Except beryllium oxide, all other oxides of metal, that is nothing but alkaline earth metals, were rock salt structure. Is it clear? In oxide, we are studying about characteristic of oxides of alkaline earth metal. So second very important one is beryllium oxide. What is the nature of beryllium oxide? It is amphoteric. We already studied, isn't it? So this one is amphoteric in nature. That means it can behave both as acid and base. Is it clear? So here it can act as acid and also base. So that's why we call it as amphoteric in nature. Is it clear? And what about other student? What about other oxides, other metal oxides? Nature of metal oxide. pH. Basic or acidic? So all are basic in nature. Very good. So these are basic in nature. But beryllium oxide itself, amphoteric in nature. Yeah, alkaline or basic. Clear? So next one, remember student, so metal oxide, that means except beryllium oxide, all are basic in nature, isn't it? All are basic in nature. So that means it readily reacts with, very important, it readily reacts with water. It readily reacts with water and forms metal hydroxide. That is very important. See, metal hydroxide. So that is nothing but oxide metal oxide reacts with water, it gives metal hydroxide. See student, it has a MOH twice, metal hydroxide. So this is nothing but metal hydroxide, which again in a basic nature, which has a basic nature. But about metal hydroxide, it is beryllium hydroxide, it is amphoteric in nature. Clear? So that's why except beryllium oxide, all the other metal oxide readily reacts with water and forms a metal hydroxide, which were in a basic nature. Clear? But whenever beryllium oxide reacts with water, what happens? It gives a beryllium hydroxide, but the nature of it is amphoteric. It has a amphoteric nature. That is the main difference. Okay, that is the main difference between beryllium hydroxide and metal hydroxide. Is it clear, student? Is it clear? And the next point is very important. See student, when we consider stability or thermal stability is nothing but stability towards heat or temperature. Thermal stability will always increases down the group, increases down the group. Remember this point, student, increases down the group again due to increase in cation size, increase in size of cation. So stability again increases, metal hydroxide or metal oxide stable. If in case I'll consider beryllium hydroxide, if in case I'll consider beryllium hydroxide with calcium or magnesium hydroxide, with magnesium hydroxide. The question may arise, which one is highly stable? Which one is highly stable? In that case, you have to consider its cationic size. Magnesium is smaller than that of barium, isn't it? Magnesium is smaller than that of barium. So that's why stability of barium hydroxide is more than that of magnesium hydroxide, because it depends on size of cation. Clear? Stability and thermal stability increases down the group. Again, same, basic strength also increases down the group. Basic strength also increases down the group. Is it clear, student? Which one is more basic in this case? Barium hydroxide is more basic because it increases down the group. Is it clear? Is it clear, students? This is about oxides. Clear? First one, all alkali metal, alkaline earth metal reacts with oxygen, forms metal oxide. But beryllium oxide is a basic. That means it has a amphoteric in nature. Next one, all metal oxide readily reacts with water and forms a metal hydroxide. And those metal hydroxides are again basic in nature. And the stability or thermal stability or basic strength increases down the group from beryllium to barium. From beryllium to barium, size increases. Size increases. So that's why stability increases. Is it clear? So next one, in terms of oxide itself, whenever we compare basic strength of alkali metal and alkaline earth metal. See, here I'll consider alkali metal and alkaline earth metal. Which one is more basic? Which one is more basic? Any idea, student? Which one is more basic? Which one is more basic? Because I already discussed, it depends on size itself. As a metal ion increases, its basic nature also increases. And we know alkali metal has a large size than that of alkaline earth metal. So that's why oxide or basic strength of alkali metal is always greater than alkaline earth metal. Clear? So that's why it is, yeah, less basic also. It is less basic also. Is it clear? Is it clear? So next one, we have to study about amphoteric nature. How beryllium hydroxide has a amphoteric nature. So that means it must react with acid and also it must react with base, just like water. We consider one example for water, isn't it? Water with NH3, water with NH3. And another example is water with HCl, water with HCl, isn't it? So where it reacts with base, water reacts with base. In another condition, water reacts with acid. Just like that, we have to explain amphoteric nature of beryllium hydroxide. See, student, first one I'll consider beryllium hydroxide. This is the composition of simple beryllium hydroxide. Clear? So beryllium hydroxide first reacts with any as oxide, so that is nothing but hydroxide, so that is nothing but NaOH, KOH, whatever it is, because we consider here only anion. Clear? See, if in case I'll write here KOH, it must be K plus and OH minus. For convenient, I'll consider only anion. Clear? Is it clear? So now what will be the product? So this is the first condition. This one is the first condition. In a second condition, I'll consider C, beryllium hydroxide reacts with any aqueous acid. So whenever we consider aqueous acid, that must be water, because aqua is related to water itself, isn't it? That's why aqueous, HCl. So now question arises, which product may be appeared? Which product will be introduced? See, beryllium hydroxide is present and here hydroxyl ion were present, isn't it? So now see, student, you'll get a product. So that is nothing but it is a complex product where we'll get OH4 with -2 charge. See student, about this I'll explain here why we consider -2 charge here. Beryllium has a +2 oxidation state, isn't it? Hydroxyl ion has a -1 oxidation state. So if in case you are considering only 2 hydroxyl ion, it will balance, isn't it? +2 and -2 will balance. Clear? But here we consider 4 molecules of hydroxyl ion. Here we consider 4 hydroxyl ion. So these all things were satisfied. These all things were satisfied, isn't it? And the remaining is OH -2. See, -2 charge. It has a -2 charge. So that's why we consider -2 charge. Is it clear why we consider -2 charge in this case? Because to balance its neutrality. Is it clear? So this one is known as berylate ion. So this one is known as berylate ion. Just like ammonium ion, we call it as berylate ion. Okay. So next one, next product. See, next product, students. So again here beryllium hydroxide is present, which is acting with HCl, that is purely acid, isn't it? It is reacting with acid. And now the question arises, which product will appear? Because water is also present. In water we have OH, isn't it? Minus and H plus. Isn't it? We have OH minus and H plus. But in this case, again, we have H plus plus Cl minus, H plus plus Cl minus. So now see the product, students, it will be same as that of basic product. It gives same product, see, beryllium or berylate ion with -2 itself. Okay, this was the same product, but to balance that one, to balance -2, to balance that -2, I'll just consider 2 molecules of Cl. So this was the product. This was the product. Is it clear? So this was the product. So this is also berylate ion with complex ion. Where hydroxyl ion, there are 4 molecules of hydroxyl ions were present, and it will form a bond which is nothing but a stable. Is it clear? So that is berylate ion. Remember this point, student, it is berylate ion. Is it clear? Is it clear? So this one is complex compound, Shilpa. This one is a complex compound. Naming of this was different, okay? So this was a complex compound. In that case, we consider it as a berylate tetrahydroxychloride. In that way, we consider, because it is a complex compound. It is a complex compound, and naming of this compound is very different. Naming of this compound is very different. Clear? It is somewhat berylate tetrammonia tetrahydroxychloride. Just tetrammonia. If in case NH3 is present here, we consider tetrammonia or else tetrahydroxy. Naming of this compound we study in our next year. Okay, that is under complex compound, that is coordination compound. It is again coordination compound itself. Is it clear? And one thing in this case, it is a complex. Again, I told it is a complex. It is a complex ion. It is a complex ion, isn't it? That means it will never form B plus and OH minus. Whenever it is introduced into water, it will never form these ions because it is in a combined state. That those are in a strong coordination bond. So that's why it will never split into ions. Okay. So that will explain in the next class. That means next concept. Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear? So question may be arise why beryllium products were not conducting in nature. So reason for this one is same. So beryllium and hydroxide or beryllium and any chloride were in a complex. That means it are strong. It has a covalent bond, and because of that nature, it will not free. So that's why there is no conductance of electric current. Is it clear? Is it clear? See, beryllium hydroxide. If the question was asked, explain amphoteric nature of beryllium hydroxide, in that case, you have to use this explanation. Is it clear? So that beryllium hydroxide can act both with acid and base, so that it give a berylate ion. Is it clear? So next one is about halides. See students, in oxides we studied about simple oxide, isn't it? We studied about simple oxide. And next one is about halides, very important halides. Second one, very important compounds. So those are nothing but halides. Okay. So now see, If in case you are considering halide, metal reacts with halogen. That is very important, students. See, metal reacts with halogen and it will form a metal halide. Metal halide, MX2, isn't it? Isn't it? So thing is, except beryllium oxide, sorry, beryllium halide, except beryllium halide, all other halides are base. That means ionic in nature. So except beryllium halide, all metal halides were ionic in nature. Ionic nature. But what about beryllium hydroxide or beryllium chloride, beryllium? Yeah, that is covalent in nature. Those are covalent nature. Why? Why? Again, I'll write here itself. So beryllium halides were covalent in nature. Reason for this one is due to its small size. Due to its small size and high polarizing power. High polarizing power. So that's why beryllium halides are covalent in nature. Clear? All other halides were ionic in nature. Clear? So next one, due to its covalent nature, so these were easily soluble in where water or organic solvent, easily soluble in water or organic solvent. Student, just reply. Yeah, those are soluble in organic solvent. Those are soluble in organic solvent. That is very important. You have to remember this point. Okay, beryllium halide, being its covalent nature, with that covalent nature, it acts as basic. That means covalent. So that's why is very easily soluble in organic solvent. Is it clear? Is it clear? So next one is very important. I'll just rub this. See, next one is very important for competitive and also for your board examination. Structure of beryllium chloride. See, beryllium chloride. Beryllium chloride. See, student, if in case I'll write a beryllium chloride structure, beryllium chloride, isn't it? Somewhat like this. So that means it has a 2 plus 2, 4 valence electron. That means 4 electrons for that. But according to Lewis octet concept, it must have 8 electron, isn't it? It must have a 8 electron. So now beryllium chloride has 2 states or 2 structure based on its state. First one purely in a solid state. First one is in a solid state. And second one in a vapor state, that means in a gaseous state. First one, so that is solid state. Second one is in vapor state. So question may be arise, what is the structure of beryllium chloride in solid state? So in that case, remember student, I'll just explain first one as a vapor state, okay? In a vapor state, very important. So those were form a dimer. See student, I'll just explain about dimer and monomer. See, if in case I'll consider monomer. So do you know anything about polymer? Student, do you know anything about polymer? If you know, just tell me. I'll just take that example itself. Polythene, you know polyethylene, polyethylene. Or I'll take simple example. Okay, see, if in case I'll consider any one circular thing, okay, whatever it is, just like your chain. We consider one chain. See, this is monomer. This is one monomer, isn't it? If I'll add same thing, another one, that means I'll add two things or do, if in case it was a ethyl alcohol or ethyl. So this one was one small point, okay? So now second thing is formed with two rings, isn't it? So that's why I'll consider it as a dimer. So now I'll consider third chain with lots of ring of same size, same material, and everything is same. And we call it as polymer. So now what is polymer? So polymers are nothing but it is a long chain structure which were formed by addition of regular monomers, same. The material, the size, the shape, and everything must be same. Yeah. So same material, same size we consider. So this is one monomer. We join lot of monomer to form a polymer. Clear? What do you mean by dimer? Dimer, in case of dimer, only two polymers were there. Clear? What about monomer? A single or a unit thing of polymer is known as, or repeating unit of polymer is known as monomer. Is it clear? What is monomer, what is dimer, and what is polymer? Is it clear, student? See, repeating unit of, smallest repeating unit of polymer is known as monomer. Clear? So it is the smallest unit. It is the smallest unit. So now say I used here dimer and I'll use here chain. First, I'll explain vapor state. See, student, in case of vapor state, beryllium chloride is in a dimer form. Minimum number of monomer required for polymer? No. So if we want to stop that, in that case, it will have a limited amount, or else we consider n number. We consider n number, okay? Unlimited. It depends on your chain or polymeric chain. Polythene, we consider polythene, or polyvinyl chloride, PVC pipe, isn't it? It depends on that. It depends on that. That's why we consider it as n number. N number of monomer combines together to form a polymer. Is it clear? Pavan, is it clear? Okay, now listen. In a vapor state, it is in a dimer form, isn't it? Dimer, beryllium chloride. So this is a single unit. This is a single unit. And I already told you dimer is formed by two units or two monomer. It is single monomer. So that's why I'll add another beryllium chloride here. What will be the structure, student? It has a structure or composition Be2Cl4. Be2Cl4. So this is not a structure. I'm just giving some idea. Okay. So now see the structure. So there were two beryllium ions, isn't it? So now, so it has one structure. See, chlorine here and another chlorine here. See, this is in a dimer form, and the structure of dimer in a, or a beryllium chloride in vapor state is this one. See, student, actually this one is one monomer, this one is one monomer, and this one is second monomer. And there is a bond, that is nothing, attraction force itself. So that is in between this molecule and this molecule. Is it clear? It's just like a hydrogen bond, but it is not a hydrogen bond. It is a dipole force of attraction. That's it. Okay, it is not a hydrogen bond. Remember one thing, student, it is not a hydrogen bond. Is it clear? Is it clear? See, so this is nothing but dimer. So this one is dimer. Be2Cl4. It is a structure of beryllium chloride in a vapor state. Okay, and remember one thing, it can, it can be dipole-dipole interaction. It can dissociate in a single monomer, that is nothing but BeCl2, only at around 1200 Kelvin. That is very important, 1200 Kelvin. If you heat this dimer around 1200 Kelvin, then itself you can get a monomer of beryllium chloride. See, monomer, I'm using monomer in this case, monomer of beryllium chloride. Is it clear, student? So actually beryllium chloride in a normal temperature, in a vapor state, it forms a dimer. That is nothing but two molecules of beryllium chloride were attached. Clear? So whenever you heat this at around 1200 Kelvin, it will split into beryllium chloride, which is nothing but monomer. Is it clear? Is it clear, student? This is very important question, maybe asked for 1 or 2 marks. What is the structure, or draw the structure of beryllium chloride in a vapor state? You have to remember, in a vapor state, it is in a dimer form. That means two units were combined. So now I'll consider solid state, okay? Now I'll consider solid state. See, student, now I'll consider solid state, which is in a chain. That is nothing but polymeric chain. It is in a polymeric chain structure, okay? So one thing I forgot to tell. So in case of beryllium chloride, it has a bridge. That is nothing but chlorine chain, chloro bridge. Okay. See, I'll draw here. If in case I'll run beryllium, and here it is chloride and beryllium and chloride, isn't it? And here it is chloride and this one is chloride. See, student, it has a chloride bridge. It has a chloride bridge. Is it clear? It has a chloride bridge. But whenever we consider a solid state, see structure, beryllium, and so there were several units of beryllium chloride, isn't it? So Cl, 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 Cl. So this was the structure. This was the structure. Is it clear, student? This was the structure. That means several units of beryllium chloride combine with each other to form a chain-like structure. This has a chain-like. See, students, this is in a solid state. This is in a solid state. This is in a gaseous state. In a gaseous state, those were always in a dimer form, but in a solid state, those were in a chain state or polymeric state. Is it clear? Is it clear, student? Is it clear? So you have to remember all these structures. This is very important. Clear? So next one, last point regarding halides. See, whenever we consider halides, the tendency of formation of hydrated halides, water molecule must be there, isn't it? Hydrated halide increases down the group. Student, just reply, it increases or decreases down the group. It depends on hydration enthalpy itself. So if you are adding more number of water molecule to any salt, in that case, it has a high hydration enthalpy. So now my question, down the group hydration enthalpy increases or decreases? Down the group hydration enthalpy increases or decreases? Yes, decreases due to increase in its size. Isn't it? So that's why remember one thing in this case, the tendency to form hydrated halide decreases gradually from magnesium to barium. So this is very important. So this is nothing but tendency of halides to form hydrates. So for that, I'll give example here, student. If in case I'll consider magnesium chloride, it needs almost 8 molecules of H2O. It needs 8 molecules of H2O for crystallization. If in case I'll consider calcium chloride and strontium chloride, it needs almost 6 molecules of H2O. But whenever we consider barium chloride, see student, whenever we consider barium chloride, it needs minimum amount, that is almost 2 molecules of water. So you don't remember these all things, just remember hydration or hydrating tendency of halides decreases down the group. Clear? So that means it needs 8 electrons, 6, after that it is 2. So that's why from magnesium to barium, what tendency of halide to form hydrates decreases. Is it clear? Is it clear about halide, student? Is it clear? So in this case, important thing is structure of beryllium chloride, and all things we already know. That is its nature, ionic or covalent nature we already know, isn't it? And then, so this also we already know, that means hydration enthalpy decreases down the group. And the main thing and new thing is about this one, structure of beryllium chloride. So this was in a solid state. Remember, in solid state, there must be more number of molecules, isn't it? But in a gaseous state, there will be a large number of molecules far away from each other. So that's why the structure will differ. So next important compounds of alkaline earth metal, so that is salts of oxoacid. See, we already know about oxoacid. Condition is there must be at least one double bonded oxygen group or there must be one hydroxyl group, isn't it? Oxoacids are those compounds in which there must be at least one oxo group and one acidic proton which must be present with hydroxyl group, and those must be attached to a same atom. And we already know the example for this one, that is H2CO3. Second one is H2SO4. And third one is HNO3. Isn't it? We already know about phosphoric acid also, oxoacid, H2CO3, H2SO4, HNO3, and we know the structure. Once again, I'll draw. See, double bond, OH, OH, isn't it? And for H2SO4, sulfur, double bond, OH and OH. And for HNO3, nitrogen with double bond and hydroxyl group. See, each and every compound has one hydroxyl group, at least one oxo group, isn't it? One oxo group and one hydroxyl group. So that's why we call it as oxoacids. In that first one, I'll consider carbonates. See, how carbonates were produced, student? How carbonates we can produce? How carbonates can be formed? Yeah, one thing, you have to react it with H2CO3, or else there is another indirect method. See, direct method I'll just show you. Metal reacts with H2CO3. What happens? Metal reacts with H2CO3. Which product it may form? Students? Just think over it. So if in case I'll split it, CO3 minus 2 and H plus, 2 molecules of H plus. And we know metal, it's in oxidation state of +2. Metal always in a oxidation state of +2 in a combined state. So see, it forms metal carbonate. It forms metal carbonates with elimination of hydrogen gas. So this is a direct method. But actually this method were not used. Okay, this method were not used. See, first thing I want to clear, all carbonates of alkaline earth metals are insoluble in water. For example, see, if in case I'll consider calcium carbonate, what is that? Student, calcium carbonate. What is that? Limestone, isn't it? Limestone is insoluble in water, isn't it? Limestone is insoluble in water. So that's why we can remember in that way, okay? So these have, that means it is insoluble in water. What? All carbonates of alkaline earth metals were insoluble in water. Is it clear? So second thing, how you can prepare carbonates of alkaline earth metal? See, first thing you have to consider any soluble salt. For example, in this case, I'll consider calcium chloride. That is soluble salt. Student, just listen here. If in case I consider calcium chloride, that is soluble in water, isn't it? And in water, it will be in a form of calcium ion and chloride ion, Cl minus. There must be Ca plus 2 and Cl minus. Is it clear? So the solution is composed with calcium and chloride ion. So now I'll introduce sodium carbonate. Or ammonium carbonate. Which product you may get, student? See, I'm introducing sodium carbonate or ammonium carbonate. Or else I'll consider only sodium for convenient, okay? There must be ammonium carbonate is also. See, sodium carbonate is again, it will split into sodium plus CO3 minus 2 when we add into water. See now. Yeah. So now just tell me, which product you can get here? Yes, that is nothing but limestone, calcium carbonate, isn't it? CaCO3. Is it clear? And that is nothing but carbonate of calcium. And that is again PPT. We already know metal carbonate is always insoluble in water. That means it forms PPT. Isn't it? So that's why carbonates of alkaline earth metal can be precipitated by adding ammonium carbonate or sodium carbonate to the solution of soluble salts of alkaline earth metal. Is it clear why we consider this long statement? Because in this case already there is a soluble salt, that is nothing but calcium chloride. So when we added sodium carbonate or ammonium carbonate, it readily gives a precipitation. So that's why we consider precipitated by. Clear? Is it clear? So carbonates of alkaline earth metal can be precipitated by adding ammonium carbonate or sodium carbonate to the solution of soluble salt of alkaline earth metal. Here we consider calcium chloride. Okay, calcium chloride. Is it clear? Student, is it clear? Just reply. Is it clear? Next thing, see, in this case, solubility of carbonate, remember one thing student, very important, solubility of carbonate decreases with increase in metal size. Clear? See, solubility decreases with increase in atomic size. So this is very important. So that means if in case I'll consider calcium carbonate and barium carbonate. If in case I'll consider calcium carbonate and barium carbonate. See, actually, all these carbonates have insolubility itself, but there is a traces amount of solubility, okay? Small amount it will be soluble, but it is actually insoluble. Okay, it is actually insoluble, and the solubility decreases as we move down the group. Clear? So in case of beryllium carbonate and calcium carbonate, which is more soluble in water, in that case we consider calcium carbonate, because down the group what happens, actually it is insoluble itself. Clear? But the tendency is slow, the reactivity is very slow. So that's why you have to remember this variations. Okay, solubility decreases with increase in atomic size. And the next point here is, see student, very important, all carbonates, very important, all carbonates decomposes into dash only on heating. See, in case of lithium carbonate, lithium carbonate is very unstable, isn't it? It easily dissociates into what? Student? Lithium carbonate being unstable, it readily decomposes into dash and dash. That we studied already, isn't it? Here also, here condition is you have to heat it. Only on heating, it will decompose. Here I'll consider example, magnesium, or else I'll consider simple example. Calcium carbonate reacts or heat on heating. What will be the product, student? What will be the product? In what it will oxidize, decomposes? Yeah, it forms calcium oxide, that is simple oxide. It forms simple oxide with the elimination of carbon dioxide gas. Yeah. So remember this point, student. So this condition is only when it is heated. Delta sign is for heating. Okay, it is for heating. Only when we heat it, it forms a calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, isn't it? Or else it is stable. In a normal condition, it is completely stable, because we know calcium carbonate, isn't it? It's completely stable. But whenever you heat it, it forms a calcium oxide with the elimination of carbon dioxide. And the last point, we know lithium carbonate is unstable due to its small size, isn't it? Like that, beryllium carbonate is also unstable. Beryllium carbonate is also unstable. It is also unstable, but it has somewhat small stability when you keep it in carbon dioxide atmosphere. See, question arise, what is carbon dioxide atmosphere? Nothing, student. A container was taken, and in that we have to fill carbon dioxide gas. That's it. And in that atmosphere, we have to keep beryllium carbonate. In that case itself, beryllium carbonate is highly stable. Or else, normally, it again decomposes into beryllium oxide and carbon dioxide, because it is unstable due to its small size. Is it okay? Is it clear? Huh? What is carbon dioxide atmosphere? Nothing. It's just a thing or a container which composed with a carbon dioxide gas. Clear? It is stable. It is stable only in carbon dioxide atmosphere. Carbon dioxide atmosphere. That's it. Is it clear? So this is about carbonates. Is it clear, student? Is this clear? Student, is this clear? So this is about carbonates. First thing, all metal reacts with H2CO3 from metal carbonate, but we can form it by indirect method. All carbonates of alkaline earth metal insoluble in water, and solubility decreases down the group. Okay, solubility decreases with atomic. Next one, next solubility decreases means less soluble. Okay, less soluble. So then all carbonates decomposes into here oxides and carbon dioxide on heating. Oxides and carbon dioxide on heating. And last thing, beryllium carbonate is also unstable, but it has a stability, somewhat small stability only when it is kept in a atmosphere of carbon dioxide. So next second salts of oxide is sulfate. Second one is sulfate. How you can prepare sulfates of alkaline earth metal, student? How you can prepare sulfates of alkaline earth metal? Yes, same procedure. Metal reacts with which oxo acid? Metal reacts with which oxo acid? Yes, that is H2SO4. It reacts with H2SO4 and it readily gives metal sulfate. It readily gives metal sulfate with the elimination of hydrogen gas. Isn't it? And here, so these are, we know in a lab we can see beryllium sulfate, magnesium sulfate is also there, calcium sulfate is also there. Okay, we can see it is a white powder, it is white solid, it is a white solid and stable to heat. It has a stability, stable towards heat. So that means if you vary the temperature or heat, it will be stable. That means it will never change its composition or it will never change its chemical strengths. Okay. So next one, very important one, beryllium sulfate and magnesium sulfate is readily soluble in water. Whenever we consider beryllium sulfate and magnesium sulfate, these were readily soluble in water. See students, very important point it is soluble in water. You have to remember this point. But whenever we consider salts of lithium, it is insoluble in water due to its covalent nature, isn't it? Here also beryllium sulfate is also having same covalent nature. It also has a covalent nature due to its small size. But thing here is the solubility decreases. Yeah. Yeah. Any idea, student? Any idea why this trend? Why these two things were soluble in water? Any idea? See, in case of beryllium sulfate and magnesium, it also has a high hydration enthalpy. See, student, it has a high hydration enthalpy. It has a high hydration enthalpy. So that means we know to form a hydration. Another thing, it also has high lattice enthalpy. What is high lattice enthalpy? What do you mean by lattice enthalpy? So energy required to break the bond, isn't it? Energy required to break the bond in case of beryllium sulfate and high hydration enthalpy. So now question arises, if it has a high hydration enthalpy, and it also has a high lattice enthalpy. See, if in case it has a high lattice enthalpy, in that case, it must be insoluble in water. But it is soluble in water. So that's why remember, greater the hydration. So here high hydration enthalpy always predominates over high lattice enthalpy. So that's why those were soluble in water. Remember this point, student. This is very important point because whenever we consider lithium, it is insoluble in water. But whenever we consider beryllium and magnesium, it is soluble in water. Yeah, the reason for this one is it has a high hydration enthalpy and it also has a high lattice enthalpy. But when we compare these two property, in that case, high hydration enthalpy always predominates over high lattice enthalpy. So that's why it is soluble in water. It is soluble in water. Is it clear? Is it clear, student? So now just tell me, solubility decreases or increases down the group? Solubility decreases or increases from calcium to barium? Solubility decreases or increases? It will remain same. Solubility decreases from calcium sulfate to barium sulfate. Solubility decreases from calcium sulfate to barium sulfate. Is it clear? Is it clear, student? About sulfate, these three things we have to remember. These three things we have to remember. Is it clear? If it is clear, I'll move to next concept. That is nothing but last one, nitrates. Just tell me, nitrates, how you can form nitrates, how you can prepare nitrates. Student, how you can prepare nitrates? Metal reacts with which oxoacid? Metal reacts with which oxoacid? Simple one, that is HNO3. Very good. HNO3, it will form metal nitrate. See, student, NO3 is -1 oxidation state, hydrogen is +1 oxidation state, and we have to balance it, and the product will be M2NO3. Sorry, MNO3 twice. MNO3 twice. For that, I'll consider H2 gas. Is it clear? So metal, yeah. Whenever metal reacts with dilute HNO3, it will produce metal nitrates. Is it clear? So here nothing much about this one. Metal nitrate easily decomposes on heating. Any idea, student, in which compounds it may form or dissociates? So metal nitrates dissociate into, nitrate. And we know H2SO4, H2SO4, HNO3, all these things were oxidizing agent. So that's why it will produce metal oxide with elimination of nitrogen dioxide, and see, oxygen is there. So that's why it will produce oxygen. Clear? No, oxygen it is. Okay, you can balance this. 2 molecules of M, 2 molecules of M, and 2 molecules of NO2. Just check. 2 plus 4, 6, 7, 8. And in this case, 12. Is it clear? Is it clear? So this is all about 4 molecules of NO2. Yes, sorry. Yes, 4 molecules of NO2 because it has a 2 nitrates. Okay. Is it clear? So this is about your nitrates. In this case, you have to remember one small thing. So whenever we consider barium nitrate, it is anhydrous. Anhydrous. We already know down the group hydration enthalpy decreases. It is anhydrous means it is moisture free. It is moisture free. Moisture free. Is it clear? But whenever we consider magnesium or any other crystal, magnesium nitrate, it needs almost 6 molecules of water for the crystallization. It makes 6 molecules of water for crystallization. That means hydration enthalpy decreases down the group. Is it clear, student? So this is all about general properties of compounds of alkaline earth metal. After that, we studied about anomalous properties. So student, I'll continue this one because it has a small portion and we already studied about anomalous property, so that we can easily tell. So see, whenever we consider whenever we consider beryllium with another molecules, what happens? What happens, students? Beryllium oxide, if in case I'll consider beryllium oxide, it is amphoteric, isn't it? Whenever we consider solids of or salts of beryllium, it is again covalent in nature, isn't it? It has a different phenomenon or a different property when we compare it with other alkali metal. So in that case, you can explain its anomalous property. Any idea, student, what are the anomalous property of beryllium? Anomalous property. Anomalous property of beryllium. Any idea, student? We already studied and I already told you, you have to write at least 2 points. Yeah, that is small size. One is small size of beryllium. Small size of beryllium, that is nothing but small atomic and ionic radii. Next one, yes, it's covalent nature. Very good, it's covalent nature. It is covalent in nature. Next one. It has a very good, it has a high ionization enthalpy. It has high ionization enthalpy due to small size itself, Next, so next one I'll just tell you, yeah, it has a high hydration enthalpy. And the next thing is very important, that is absence of d orbital. Absence of d orbital. See student, why we consider absence of d orbital? Because it is NH2 molecule, isn't it? See, I'll consider I'll consider magnesium and beryllium. Beryllium atomic number is 3. 3 or 4? Beryllium atomic number is 4. So that is 1s2, 2s2. Isn't it? 1s2, 2s2, where 2p is present, but it has a 0. That means there is no electron. But whenever we consider magnesium, see student, whenever we consider magnesium, I'll consider here, magnesium atomic number is 12, and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and there is a 3p, that is 0, and there is 3d, that is also 0. Isn't it? When we compare beryllium with magnesium, see, in this case, there is no d orbital because it is second shell, isn't it? It's valence shell itself, second one. We know first one has only one shell, that is nothing but subshell, that is S. In a second shell, there were 2 subshell, S and P. In a third shell, there were 3 subshell, S, P, and D. And a fourth shell, there will be 4 subshell, S, P, D, and F. Isn't it? We already studied about this. So that's why here there is no d orbital. But in this case, third shell has a d orbital. And electron can jump from one state to another state to form a different hybridization. So that's why this one is very important, absence of d orbital. You have to remember this point, student. Absence of d orbital is another case which is very important. Is it clear? So these 4 properties, nothing but it explains the anomalous properties of beryllium. Is it clear? Student? Is it clear? See, in the next class, we'll study about similarity between a diagonal relationship with beryllium and which one? Beryllium has a diagonal relationship with which one? Student, can you answer? See, if in case I'll consider lithium, after lithium there is sodium. In this case, after beryllium, it has a magnesium. Then here I'll comes boron after boron, aluminum, then carbon, and here it is silicon, next one nitrogen, phosphorus, and so on. Now just tell me, which one has a diagonal relation? With lithium, magnesium, with beryllium, aluminum, isn't it? Beryllium and aluminum has a diagonal relationship. It has a diagonal relationship. It has a diagonal relationship. Okay, so same. Why? Reason for this diagonal relationship is almost it has a same size. It has a same size. For example, if in case I'll consider beryllium plus 2 ion. If in case I'll consider beryllium plus 2 ion, it has a this one. Atomic size. So that is around 32 picometer. So this is around 32 picometer. But whenever we consider aluminum plus 3, it is almost same. That is around 32 picometer itself. Is it clear? So that's why we consider it as a same. Okay. About this we'll study in next class. Okay. So see, in this chapter there were some property or preparation methods of some carbon compound, calcium compounds that we have to study. Okay. Until that we'll study. From first onwards we'll take a new chapter. Okay. Study well, student. From this I'll send some important question today or tomorrow. Okay. We'll end this session. Take care. Study well. Bye.